What's up, fellow YouTubers? So, here's a video response to a YouTuber who made the video 10 Dark Things About the Lion King Original, the remake covered up. Okay? This is a video made by Wicked Binge. And, oh boy, this video is 11 minutes long, so let's get into it.
The live-action version of the legendary Disney classic The Lion King had critics and moviegoers on seriously opposing teams. Some critics felt that remaking the classic was a cold-hearted Disney cash grab.
You have no idea.
But many fans of the original movie said that the Lion King remake was a fun ride that introduced a new generation to a classic story. Now, today we won't be debating whether or not the original should have been remade. We'll leave all the hot takes about that to the comment section. Instead, we're going to be taking a look at the major changes between the original Lion King and the 2019 remake. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the darker stuff from the original that the creators didn't see fit for the remake. Believe it or not, the 1994 version saw some controversies, and the remake felt it necessary to avoid them. And before we start, a little reminder here, we aren't saying we agree or disagree with the changes. We want to hear about what you think in the comment section below.
Okay, so to give you a sort of idea of what's going on here, the original 1994 Disney Lion King, the original Lion King had some suggestive, albeit controversial stuff, as they say. Some of it is legitimate, like I could see where they get that, and some of it, it's just like, okay, now you're just grasping at straws. Like, this is ridiculous, dude. You don't even know the half of it. So while we're rolling up a cigarette, let's get into it, shall we?
So the final say is yours. Let's get started. Racist hyena issues. Yes, let's talk about it. Back in 1994, some academic critics thought that the portrayal of these hyenas was racist. The evidence, according to them, being that the overall cast was mainly white, but the two leading hyenas, Shenzi and Benzai, were voiced by minority actors, Cheech Marin and Whoopi Goldberg. And these hyenas were portrayed as low-life thugs that used slang and were hidden away somewhere in the shadows of the Pride Lands.
You know, if it weren't for those lines, we'd be running the joint.
One Harvard psychologist's interpretation saw the hyenas as more urban, which was an opinion that circulated until a Disney spokeswoman was asked about the controversy. Her response was straightforward, to say the least. She said, quote, "It's a story, it's fiction, these people need to get a life."
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a rant with this because that Disney spokesperson is so right. It's a story, it's fiction, these people need to get a life. What else do you expect? Like, in every Disney movie, the villain is always in some creepy-ass lair, hidden in the shadows. I mean, you look at the movie Anastasia with Rasputin. Have you seen that dungeon he lives in, or whatever the fuck, in the dark of the night? Yeah, you can hear that song. As I say it, you can hear that song inside your head, right? You look at any Disney movie, and 9 times out of 10, the villain always has this creepy evil lair. It's tucked away in the shadows where nobody can see it, to give the illusion of dark and foreboding, because it's the Disney villain in that particular movie. When I was a kid, watching Disney movies growing up, I never thought to myself how racist this was or anything like that. I was always taught to believe, Okay, if you're a villain, you have some creepy hideaway, fortress, whatever, tucked away in the freaking shadows. Or better yet, let's look at Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent's castle. Okay, you look at the movie Sleeping Beauty and you see where Maleficent lives. It's been like this for every Disney movie. The villain always has this scary little hideaway, whatever. But
Which, agree or disagree, we can all probably acknowledge that you would never ever get that level of blunt honesty in a Disney PR release in 2019.
Oh, I like that. He's not king, but he's still so proper.
When we look at the new version of The Lion King, things have definitely taken a turn. We can only assume this, but clearly some Disney bosses or creative minds tried to avoid the reemergence of this scandal. The hyenas are smarter and not there to be the butt of a joke. This time, they seem to be Scar's equals. The new cast and crew of The Lion King have acknowledged the changes, but possibly for different reasons. Director Jon Favreau said that the hyenas had to change a lot because of the photorealistic nature of the film. According to him, quote, having too broad of a comedic take on the hyenas felt inconsistent with what we were doing. Whatever the exact considerations behind the change, it really seems that the true nature, or their essence, has turned from a comedic force into symbolizing danger. For example, Shenzi is played by Florence Kasumba, who described the hyena as a threatening force. In the heated climax, Shenzi has her own fight with Nala, while Simba and Scar tear each other apart. Some people would argue the racism accusations levied over the initial hyena portrayals were baseless and concocted by people who were simply looking to make something out of nothing, while others believe that there was merit to the criticism. What do you think? But we're just getting started, so let's talk about that Twitter storm that Scar's new look set off back in April.
What do you think? He says. I agree 100%, YouTube. I think it was just a bunch of people grasping at straws, trying to make something out of nothing. But then we come to the second part of this little debacle, if you will. Scar's new look. Because we can't have a remake to a classic Disney movie featuring animals, making them look more realistic without somebody throwing a pitch fit. Pitch, bitch, fit, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now you look at the original Lion King, very cartoonish,
Scar's new look. When the new Lion King trailer came out, it started a major Twitter fire among Disney's and the original movie's fanbase. There are two main differences in Scar's look when you compared it to the first movie. His mane is no longer black and nice looking, instead it looks more patchy. And then there's the fur color. No longer is it dark brown. Now it's a sandy color just like Simba and Mufasa. Many fans said that the lion that they were looking at just wasn't Scar anymore. His cartoon design made him appear far more villainy and dark in tone. That just wasn't something that was as possible with photorealism.
Okay. At 4 minutes and 22 seconds into this video, we see a still shot of Scar from the live-action Lion King, and we see the hyenas on either side of him. You have to take into consideration, if you're doing a live-action show, YouTube, some things are going to get changed, And what the creators of this remake were trying to achieve was that semi-realism, that semi-realism that live action has, What would it look like if we had real animals talking and doing all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? That's the look they were going for. So naturally, you're going to make Scar the same color as all the other lions, because that's just how it is. But this Scar compared to the Scar in the original Lion King, yeah, there are some subtle differences, but in all honesty, this is how I would picture Scar if he were a real lion, you know? That's my take on it. But there were a lot of people out there who are going to be all pissed off about this because, oh geez, it doesn't look anything like the cartoon. Well, no shit, Sherlock, it's called a live action. Oh, but it gets better.
Was an overall major criticism across the film as a whole. The Lion King lost its queer coding, but differences regarding Scar didn't.
Differences regarding Scar did not end there because they took out the queer coding. The fuck is that?
And there. Some people have accused Disney of giving its evil characters stereotypically homosexual traits.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Namely, they mention Hades, Captain Hook, and Scar as appropriate examples of queer coding the villains. Hades.
There is no such thing as queer coding. Like, it's exhausting living in this society we live in right now. People have accused Disney of queer coding or giving their villains stereotypical homosexual traits. And I'm like, you know what? I have a couple friends who are gay and they don't act like that. So these stereotypes and what have you, it's stupid.
Peace, really?
Get a grip.
This time, it's different. Scar has a thing for Simba's mom. We learn about this when Scar mentions that long ago, Sarabi chose Mufasa over him. Scar isn't over her, but she shoos away any of his advances. Favreau said that this new love triangle was inspired by Shakespeare. He explained that in Hamlet there was the mother of the murdered father going with the uncle. The Lion King is based on the classic play, so one could argue that this fits in with the story. The thing is though, although some people criticized Disney in the past for giving some of these villains stereotypically gay traits, changing that didn't really stop criticism, as several outlets and people on Twitter have since complained about Scar being straight-washed.
Straight-washed. Okay, there's no such thing as being straight-washed or queer-coded. These are just stupid terms. Again, people looking for something to bitch about that isn't there. They can't just be like, oh, hey, look, it's Lion King. That takes me back to my childhood. Let's see how they did on the remake. Let's have an open mind. Let's have an open mind and let's watch this movie. No, we gotta find every little fucking detail. We gotta pick it apart. And of course, Mufasa's death is less emotional. Well, given that when I grew up as a kid, I was less sensitive than today's generation. So that's probably why they did it. Because today's kids are way too goddamn sensitive. And holy fuck, it's unreal. Because of the adults that parent them, I thank you. When kids are watching this overly PC culture growing up, when kids are watching adults become overly politically correct to a point where you just want to shoot yourself in the foot, you'd rather listen to nails on a chalkboard than some would-be activist talking about how bullshit it is. You know? Like, at least when I go off on my rants, there's a point to them. It's not just, oh, fuck all these people doing all this and that, you know? At least there's a point to my rants, you know? My rants, what have you. But this is just sad.
Mufasa's death is less emotional. I think we can all agree that Mufasa's death in the first movie was simply brutal. We all cried, but many viewers...
I didn't. I was just like, what do you do? That's, you know, part of the story, I guess.
Found the interpretation of this legendary scene considerably less bleak in the remake. No facial expressions and a less nightmarish atmosphere made this moment far less emotional. And while Simba used to carry the guilt with him for the rest of his exile, the new movie watered this down as well.
It's because of me. It's my fault.
At least according to fans who went on an emotional roller coaster ride while watching the '94 version. Many agree that the remake scene just didn't pack the emotional punch that the original did. Less entitled lions. Did the
Oh, yeah, because we can't just sit here and say, oh, that remake was nicely done. No, everyone's a fucking critic. Oh, Mufasa's death was less emotional. Scar didn't look like his cartoon counterpart. The hyenas were a lot more intelligent and not just some comedic relief. Now, I personally didn't see this when it hit theaters. I'm not the kind of person that goes out to the movies too often, unless I see something being advertised and I'm like, that looks good, I go see it. You know? Generally speaking, the movies are overpriced. And if I see something I like being advertised, I'll go out and watch it. But outside of that, no, dude, you're paying an arm and a leg for a movie ticket and the other arm and the other leg for your movie snacks. By the time you get to your seat, you got no limbs. You're sitting there eating the popcorn like a woodpecker, like, should be a good movie. Like one of those birds pecking at the water, like. And it's like, okay, you know, if movie theaters are tired of people sneaking outside candy into their vicinity, then here's the thought, why not make your snacks a little bit cheaper? Just a thought.
Lion King remake creators check the character's sense of entitlement? Some people think that's exactly the case. There's the scene in the original version of The Lion King where Simba and Mufasa look over the vast Pride Lands. Simba says, "And this will all be mine?" To which Mufasa responds, "Everything."
And this'll all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches.
Now, in the 2019 version, things are a little different. This time, Mufasa is more humble and tells his son that the land doesn't belong to anyone. The lions protect the land instead of owning everything until the horizon. This seems to be a revision to show Mufasa and Simba in a more favorable light. As one could argue, the lions are essentially dictators, and Simba was pretty entitled throughout the original film.
I'm gonna be king of Pride Rock.
Oh, goody.
Nala gets more screen time. Nala's character is regarded as being a bit underdeveloped in the 1994 version of The Lion King. This time around, Nala gets more to do. For example, there's the scene where Nala sneaks away from Pride Rock to find more food for her family. This means sneaking past Scar as well. And then there's the moment when she gathers all the lionesses to tackle Scar. She asks them, "Are you with me?" And she didn't have to ask twice. Likely a creative decision to expand on a female character. Shenzi outranks the other hyenas. The original Lion King had 3 leading hyenas, Benzai, Ed, and Shenzi, each with their own personality. And although Ed was dumb as a box of rocks, there didn't appear to be any real rank or order to them. The new movie put Shenzi in an alpha female role that actually mirrors the way hyena clans work in the wild. This time, there's no Benzai and Ed. Instead, you have Azizi and Kamari, who are her second and third in command. There's no doubt that they are her subordinates. One could argue that this was a creative choice to have another powerful female role, not on the side of good, but on the evil side as well. Fascist hyenas. Did you think that we were already done with the hyenas? Not really, because in the original film they were shown as fascistic, in an actual goose-stepping Nazi imagery kind of way. We actually see them as mirroring German soldiers during World War II during Scar's Be Prepared song. It's pretty unmistakable. It's the straight-legged marching style of the German stormtroopers. According to some observant viewers, The scene seems to be borrowed from Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will. Now, the new movie still has its own version of Be Prepared, but instead of a song, you'll get more speaking, and there's zero goose-stepping involved. The times have definitely changed, and nowadays having this kind of imagery might be too risky for Disney. But
Okay, I guess I can see where they're coming from on this. You know, mimicking neo-Nazi fascism with Scar's Be Prepared song. I get that. That one, okay, I'll give the critics that one. You know, I could see it.
one could argue that there isn't a problem with portraying the bad guys as fascists. After all, they're villains. But what do you think? Caught?
Well, I mean, yes, that is a fair point as well. One could argue that portraying the bad guys as fascists, you know, but at the same time, people are going to have a stink about that too because that's politically incorrect, you know.
In a web of lies. In the 1994 version, Simba literally forces Scar to confess in front of the lionesses about murdering Mufasa.
Tell them the truth.
Truth, but truth is in the eye of the beholder.
But in the remake, the lionesses are smart enough to figure it out on their own. That's because in an earlier scene, Scar said that he didn't make it to the gorge in time to save Mufasa and Simba, but later he claimed that he saw the fear in Mufasa's eyes. This is exactly what made the lionesses understand that they have a liar on their hands, or paws. No hint of lion love. Things got pretty suggestive in the original film. Simba was on top of Nala, and she gives him quite a telling look. The scene cuts away to the next one when things get a little more intimate. The "Can you feel the love tonight" sequence is still there in the new movie, but it's a bit different this time. First of all, it takes place during the daytime, and more importantly, Timon and Pumbaa keep an eye on the young lovers throughout the sequence. This way, all the people in the audience can be fully sure that there's no funny business going on, and all the kids' eyes can be left uncovered. Thematically, I think it can be argued that they left out an important part of the circle of life, but maybe it would be deemed as inappropriate today. Given that the original only really implied sex, do you think that they were too sensitive removing it given that it fits the circle of life theme? And of all the changes that happened in The Lion King, which ones do you think were merited? Do you think that Disney made the right decision with their changes to correct problematic issues in the original? Or do you think that people are just too sensitive? Let us know in the comments section below.
Okay, so do I think that removing the suggestiveness from that scene, do I think, were they being too sensitive or was it for good intention? Well, I think it was removed for good intention. However, I do think that people are a little too sensitive. Because what's going to happen when your kid goes home after watching the Lion King remake and thinks to him or herself, I want to watch the Discovery Channel. And then mom and dad aren't in the room. They're busy doing something else. Your kid's watching the Discovery Channel. And look, right there on the Discovery Channel, on Animal Planet, there's two lions going to town fucking the shit out of each other. And they're going to be going, oh, wait a second, that wasn't in the movie. I kind of felt like they could have done it to where it was tasteful without being suggestive, but they didn't want to bother with that, so they're like, today's audience is too goddamn sensitive for this shit. We'll have to cut it out of the movie. Like, I remember watching Lion King as a kid, and when that scene popped up, you know, I didn't think too much of it. Like, you saw them kiss, and then that was it. You know, transactions the next day. You know, pretty harmless. 10 dark things about the Lion King original the remake covers up. I never saw the remake, to be quite honest. I had no interest in seeing the remake, because you know how this you already know how this shit goes, YouTube. You know, you really do. People are sitting there saying they ruined it, blah 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 blah, talking all this shit, blah 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 blah. But as I hate to say it, it's the truth. That is cinema for you, YouTube. You know, everyone's a fucking critic. Like, they could have just had the lions kiss, and then that would have been the end of it. Transaction to the next scene, whether it's nighttime and they're just laying down next to each other talking. You know, it didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of agree with both sides on that last one, especially. Like, part of me gets why they did it, because they don't want, you know, the parents to go, oh, geez, that's a little suggestive, covering their kids' eyes. Like, okay, and this is my final point on this whole thing. As a parent, you should be able to be very open with your kid when they have questions about sex and drugs and shit like that. Because here's the thing of it, YouTube. If you lie to your kids about sex and drugs, they're going to find out for themselves. And usually not the way most parents intend. And this is precisely why the United States of America has the highest teen rate when it comes to teen pregnancy. This is precisely why the United States of America has the highest rate for teen pregnancy. Because parents are lying to their kids, you know. Parents are lying to their kids about sex and drugs because they're so worried about their kids doing the shit that they did when they were kids, you know. Like, oh, geez, you kissed a girl and tried a cigarette and drank a beer. Oh, no, you're grounded for 4 weeks, mister. Yeah, I'll show them. And it doesn't matter what you say, YouTube, but you can tell your kids not to do these things. That's not going to stop them. You know, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. If kids want to smoke, drink, do drugs, have sex, they're going to find a way to do it. You know, kids are smart like that. But here's the thing of it. Adults are a little bit smarter because we've been around the block. We know a thing or two. We've been down that road before. This is precisely why we should be teaching our kids about condoms and maturity and that kind of thing. And like being like, hey, you know what? If you feel like you're not emotionally ready to have it, then you shouldn't have to worry about doing it, you know? Don't feel pressured by other people just because you hear your buddies and your classmates going on about all the sexual shit that they've supposedly done. You know, don't let that shit pressure you. 9 times out of 10, a lot of them are just lying. 9 times out of 10, these people are lying because they want to make themselves seem cooler to their classmates. If you're going to smoke pot, you should wait till you're in college. You know, if you're gonna drink alcohol, wait till you're old enough to drink. If you're gonna smoke cigarettes, wait till you're old enough to smoke. Rather than saying you shouldn't do it, because that would make me a hypocrite, sitting here on camera telling people, oh, you shouldn't smoke cigarettes or you shouldn't drink alcohol, they'd be like, Gothic King Cobra, who the fuck are you to tell people not to drink and smoke? Mr. Drink Combination, Mr. Tobacco Reviews. So I'm not going to tell people they shouldn't do it, but I am going to say one thing. Like I said, dude, if you're going to smoke or drink, wait till you're old enough. It's less headache. You get caught with a minor in possession. Not cool, man. You know? And people who get caught buying from minors, jail time. Major fucking jail time. It's not worth it, dude. See, I'm the kind of asshole, if some kid asked me to buy them booze, I'd buy it, but then I take it home for myself. And if the kid said, hey, wait a minute, that's mine, I'm like, the fuck it is. Thanks for the free brews, you little brat. Ha! Because what the fuck is that kid gonna do? Go to the cops and say, that man stole my money. And then as soon as they go to him, be like, well, this little bastard asked me to buy him a beer, so I bought it, but I drank it myself. Ha ha. What do you guys think? Did you like the Lion King remake? Do you agree with what I have to say in this video? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like these kinds of rants, subscribe for more. This is usually what happens, YouTube. Parents will lie to their kids, straight up lie to their kids about sex. So when they go to look it up on the internet, they get a bunch of disgusting porn that paints a false image. What you see in pornography is scripted. It's not real. You know what real sex is like? You're sitting there fucking your of-age girlfriend. You're both just going to town on each other. And then one of you farts, and then you both just sit there laughing your asses off about it. That's real sex for you. You're sitting there fucking your girlfriend, one of you farts, and you both trying to keep a straight face, and then you just both start laughing your asses off. And then you're sitting there laughing about it for the next 10 minutes. That's what real sex is like. Oh shit, I'm cramping. Let's change positions. And that's what I'm telling all my underage fans. Like, don't be in a rush to grow up. Because believe me, once you're 21, you're going to have plenty of time to drink and party and all that jazz. Smoking a cigarette, waiting for my order of tactical soap to get in. If you want 10% off your next order of tactical soap, promo code King Cobra. So next time you go into the bar and you want to smell sexy for the ladies, Now that's what I like to see. Teespring has sent you money for your shirts. So now that I got money on my PayPal, hold up. It's not enough to do what I need to do, but I can go ahead and transfer this money to my bank account. Accept the money, transfer to the bank. Made like $40.13. That's not bad. Just selling t-shirts, man. Appreciate that. Thank you to all my fans for buying my merchandise. I'm going to transfer that to my bank with a 1% fee. I'll get like $39.73. Transfer that motherfucker. Your $39.73 is on its way. Cool. Cool. I like it. Can't argue when the fans like the merchandise, man. That cool Cobra shirt that I made is really popular. I had like 4 people order one, and then one person ordered a Gothic King Cobra t-shirt. Sweet. I was checking my Gmail when I seen that. Hold up. Let's go back to my Gmail. It says in transit. Well, it's in transit. And, well, according to Grondike Soap Company, the awesome people that I'm sponsored by on my channel, as I am now an affiliate for Tactical Soap, 10% off your next order with the coupon code KINGCOBRA. KINGCOBRA. And you'll get 10% off your next order. Yeah, buddy. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of women ignoring you? Do you want something that you can put on that just makes every woman you want to talk to say, that dude smells nice? And what a time to be alive, YouTube. What a glorious time to be alive. Because I'm telling you right now, with some Tactical Soap, all you gotta do, you take a shower, wear that soap, put some clean clothes on before you go to the bar, have a couple drinks, and watch. Every chick you walk by is gonna be like, you smell really good. That's what I'm saying, YouTube. $10% off your next order. Yes. Well, when I get that Bond pheromone soap, I'm going to film a commercial for YouTube where I shower with it, but it will be tastefully done. You won't see anything inappropriate, When I checked my emails, they said the estimated arrival date for your Tactical Soap should be September 30th. And lo and behold, it is September 30th. yeah. Anyways, tubes, thank you for watching my rant. And thank you for using my promo code King Cobra to buy some tactical soap from the Grondike Soap Company. Greatly appreciate it. That helps me out and it helps you out, you know? My buddy Exhumed Visions ordered himself a bar of Bond all natural pheromone soap using my promo code, so his girlie is gonna get a sweet surprise when that gets in the mail. So yeah, hey Exhumed, let me know like how your girlfriend likes the smell of it, so that'll help convince other people to give it a go. Anyways, tubes, thank you for watching the rant video. If you like these kinds of rants, subscribe for more to the King Cobra JFS channel. It's blowing up because of you cool cobras, and I appreciate that. Anyways, YouTube, thank you for watching. I'll catch you cool cobras later.